testing. One, two, three, testing. Let's go. Shout out to everybody joining the live, no matter what platform you're on. We're gonna do something a little bit different today. We're on, geez, 5, 6 different platforms. No matter what platform you're on, I appreciate y'all tapping in with your boy. If this your first time joining my live, look, I go by Zabo103. I'm the dude that get on these live platforms, and I really just try to provoke thought, y'all. That's it. I do believe though, if you think, if you research and you take action, you absolutely, without a doubt, can win. The choice is yours. It really is. I know yesterday I got on live yesterday. I was live for about 3.5 hours, and we talked about a ton of stuff. And for me, you know, as of the last couple months, I really haven't been going live and being live on social media or streaming, I should say, um, for that long period of time like that. A lot of my time has been dedicated primarily to the network, Zabo 103 TV. And we're going to go live on the network after I get off over here in a little bit. And we're going to dig deeper on the stuff that we're talking about. What's up, family? And YouTube family in the building. Shout out to y'all. It's been a minute. And I want to make sure, one, that everybody can obviously hear some parts of the message. And anyone that wants to get the full message, obviously join the actual network because we're gonna continue to go up. I know Friday night we spent about an hour over on the network and we dug into some stuff. And the thing that I want people to understand is that when you're starting to learn something new, you're never gonna digest it in one setting, y'all. You're never gonna get all the answers that you want at one particular time. That's not how this stuff works, y'all. Even if you did get everything you possibly can at one time, you're gonna be so overwhelmed, you're still not gonna know where to start. So I say that to say this: come join the journey. Get over there to Zabo 103 TV, become a legacy builder, and start your journey. It is vital. It is very different when you're starting this journey and you just, because you can, don't get me wrong, when you're starting this journey and you're going through the process, trying to figure all this stuff out, and you're doing a lot of trial and error versus going through the journey with somebody obviously going through the journey too that might be a little bit ahead of where you at, and they can clarify some things that you're going through and help you avoid some of the potholes. So, with that being said, we're going to finish up where we left off yesterday, and then we're going to end up on Zabo 103 TV, the network. You can download the app in the App Store, the whole 9 yards, y'all. It just is what it is. 100% is on the platform. Why wouldn't it be? Think about that for a second. Um, So let's pick up where we left off yesterday. We talked about how do you do this stuff for yourself. We're gonna pick right up where we left off for those that are new here. You're gonna have to catch up because the last 2 days I've been recapping. But you're gonna have to catch up. For all those people that are, I should say, just sick or tired of being sick and tired. Look, I'm not gonna get on this internet and tell you, right? Oh no, you're good, family. I'm on 5 different platforms, family, so don't be alarmed. But I'm not gonna get on here and tell you I got all of the answers. Y'all, I don't know everything. But the stuff I know, I know. The stuff I've accomplished. And I will never ever claim to be something different than what I truly am. I'm a dude on the internet that figures some stuff out. Period. I'm never going to ask you to join me on an investment together, I only got one partner that I invest with. That's my wife. That's it. 100%. That's it. No one else. I'm not that person that has money. You know what I mean? So, I know a lot of people pop on my lives and then they'll hit me up after, hey, I got this hardship I'm going through. I really need some help. Call your parents. Call your brother, call your sister, call your auntie, call your uncle, call your coworker, call your friends. Because the reality of it is, I don't have nothing for you. The only thing I can do for you, which is way more valuable than anything else you could ever imagine, is give you the blueprint to show you how you can change your life forever. That's the only thing that I can give you. I want people to understand that at some point, you have to start focusing on your last name. Too often, people are running around here focusing on their first name and they constantly losing and they don't understand why. It has to be in your spirit that if you hate getting up every Monday morning, fighting rush hour traffic, going on a job that you don't like, at some point, it's not the job, y'all, it's you. It should never be a reason why you go to work mad, upset, angry, hating the place that you call work. Ever. I made a very conscious decision when I was working at Bank of America. And anybody that ever worked at Bank of America with me, my employees, the whole 9 yards, they will tell you, because I would tell them flat out, the very first day y'all see me mad at work, or the very first day you see me saying, man, I'm tired of this job, it will be my last day at the job. I'm not the person that's going to keep putting myself in a situation that I don't like. It's just not me. It shouldn't be anybody. Why do you endure that pain? Because you got to put food on the table and that's the only way that you know how? You got a roof to put over your family head and that's the only way you know how? Think about that for a second. There is a better way. Bills is the primary reason why poor people think they need money. Wealthy people only understand one thing. I ain't gonna say only, but they understand something more valuable. The only purpose of money is to make money. It has no other purpose. Only poor people think the purpose of money is to pay bills. What's up, family? And it's the furthest thing from the truth. And it's simply because you're constantly in a state where you're operating personally. And when you're constantly in that state where you operate personally, you're going to continue to feel that way. Money is only supposed to be used for public use and private use. Period. So you need peace. I get it. I understand that. Money is not going to bring you peace at all. I'm going to say that again. Money is not going to bring you peace at all. In fact, if you really want peace in your life, close your eyes and tell yourself you're at peace. Close your eyes and tell yourself that it will be this way for the rest of your existence on this planet. Peace is in your head. It goes back to your perspective. What your perspective is will bring you whatever level of peace you think you want in your life. And that's the part where, and it's good you said that, family. It's good that you mentioned that, because I think that's the part that people don't understand. Before you get money, any type of money, You need to address those mentally concerning things you have going on. If peace, you're not at it, you need to start removing everything around that bothers your peace. And it doesn't matter who it is or what it is. You got to get that in order before you start to go down the path of building wealth. Because if you don't, you just adding garbage on top of garbage. It's only going to make it worse. And I know, don't get me wrong, this is not one of those lives. If you ever haven't been on my live before, this is not one of those lives where I'm gonna tell you some old off the wall ignorant stuff around. I don't need money in my life. I just want a peace of mind. That's not reality either. But you gotta understand what the money is for. You gotta understand that it's not real. You got to understand that it's not yours. You have to understand that all money goes back to the original sender, and none of us are the original senders. Until you start to put all that into play, you're going to constantly be in turmoil. See, when I was at Bank of America, I was there for 20 years as an executive without a college degree. I had 459 employees that I managed directly and indirectly. It was an interesting situation, y'all. I made a couple $100,000 a year. I wasn't struggling to pay no bills. I wasn't struggling to put food on the table. I wasn't stressed out that somebody was looking over my shoulder, I was going to get fired. It wasn't that type of situation at all. But it was something that just, it hurt my soul more than anything. I was amazingly happy. I had my beautiful wife, who still with me today. Had my beautiful kids. I was happy. I was extremely happy. I only had, from a level of bosses, when you talk about how many bosses you have when you're on a job, the CEO at Bank of America was a band 1. His direct reports were band 2s. Their direct reports were band 3s. I was a band 4. So I didn't have a whole bunch of people over my head hounding me about what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. The bands go all the way down to 30. I'm just trying to put it in perspective so you can understand. I wasn't in a stressful environment. There was no, man, I hate my job. Secretly, oh man, they get on my nerve. When I made a decision at the bank, for the most part, whatever decision I made, that's what happened. I was over the small business credit card department, the collection side of the house. So when you would hear the loss number for Bank of America small business credit card, I was the person reporting numbers to the street. So when I made certain decisions, it happened. Think about what I'm saying. So it's not the level of pressure that other people have. But there was one thing. There was one thing that just was off. It was completely off, y'all. You know what it was? A day on the job, spending another easily 4 hours a day driving every single day back and forth to work. That used to play with me every single day. The way going to work is taking me 2 hours to get there because of traffic. It's taking me 2 hours to come home. I'm spending 12 hours a day away from the people that I say I care about and love the most. The math didn't math, y'all. It didn't make sense to me. I couldn't unsee this stuff. And it wasn't that I was like mad, the family, that with no stress when I came home. The wife was working. The kids, everybody was situated, man. But something in my spirit kept saying, I can't live this life the way I grew up. You're barely seeing your parents, your nannies, your teachers are raising your babies. Think. I got to go to a job and ask my daddy for PTO. I got to call my daddy 30 minutes before my shift if I'm going to call out sick. It didn't make sense. Something was off. When I decided to start working for my last name and not my first, I could have never imagined that that was the missing piece. I could have never made that make sense in my head. It was some wild moments when reality finally hit. When I left Bank of America, I made my yearly salary in a month. And when I started making a couple $100,000 a month, I'm telling you, this is just me. I realized more than ever, it didn't have no money. It didn't have nothing with no money. I went from making $200,000 a year to making $200,000 a month. It didn't have nothing to do with no money, y'all. I found myself saying, I got to figure out how I can spend time with these people that I say I care about and love the most. Because the money ain't the issue. I thought it was. I thought I needed more money to have this extravagant lifestyle. That's what I thought. It was some wild stuff, y'all. Then I started spending time with my kids every day, all day. Started spending time with my wife all day and every day. And other stuff started to plague in my head, man. As a grown man, I said to myself, I don't understand how, and I'm not perfect, but I don't understand how someone can cheat on they. I used to be able to understand it, but I couldn't understand it no more, y'all. I couldn't understand it at all. And it was mainly because if you claim to be so loyal, why would you be unloyal to the person that's closest to you? It don't make sense. The math. And then I started to see the little tricks. I started to see the little games. And I realized this place called the United States of America place. They made all of us consumer. They made all of us the consumers. They done turned everybody against each other. What's your complexion? Men aren't supposed to be taking care of women like that. You better stop simping. You're supposed to be taking care of another man? Is that what you're preaching? Girl, he ain't gonna do nothing but dog about that. You don't need them. You're an independent, strong woman. You sound crazy. It's to keep you in consumership. When I started piecing this stuff together, I realized something even more dangerous than what I could even imagine. I realized the reason why this generation that we're in right now today don't value relationships is simply because they've been taught it. I realized very quickly that the reason why you don't have nothing is because two is better than one. Every time you get in a relationship and you start to build some stuff, you end your relationship for something foolish. So you're constantly starting over. I don't think people really understand how much stuff they can build if you're doing it with your significant other. Sign if I can't. I don't think people get it. You claim you want to build a generational wealth without a generation to leave it to, make it make sense. But you gotta see through all the BS. You gotta start playing the game. Start playing the game, y'all. I will tell you flat out, it was life changing to me. I was no longer looking at your complexion for the protection. I was no longer trying to figure out this men versus women thing. I was no longer trying to tell my kids by the time you get 21, I'm putting you out to go get some responsibility. That's stupid. I wasn't playing that game no more. It was about my last name and not my first. Because I started to realize as a person that got 18,722 more days left on this planet, I'm going to say it one more time. As a person that got 18,722 more days left on this planet, I ain't got time to be playing. I ain't got time to be playing around with nobody. I have no time to waste. I got to be very deliberate because it's mean. It's about my grandkids and my great grandkids and my great grandkids not having to go and pull up ancestry.com to figure out who I was. They're going to know who I was because I'm the person giving them a head start on life. See, I figured out something a little bit different than other people, and nobody ever really talks about it. I realized very quickly, if I can go and capitalize on as much dirt as possible, my family will always win. I've been collecting dirt now for probably about like 7 years, almost 8 at this point. And I'm telling you, it's been life-changing. As a person that owns 436 and a half acres of land, ain't no loans, it's life-changing, y'all. You got to get back to what the root is. See, you chasing money and you don't understand the money not yours. You only holding it to give to the next person. Every dime that you have, I don't give a damn where your money at. You only holding it to give to the next person. Think about the money that you have right now. You know who you're holding it for. I got money in my savings account. I done saved up 12 months worth of living expenses. So just in case it's a rainy day, it rains every day. You telling me you got this money parked to pay your bills when they fire you? Smart. That's why you saving money. Wealthy people don't save no money. It's like they gotta, like it's on fire, burning a hole through their pockets. Every dime they get, they put it back out there to go to work. They ain't saving no money ever. They don't want no money. They want the land. They want the land. Yeah, they go create all these different businesses to generate money, but they only generate the money to get the land. But you don't understand that because you've been tricked. You got so many other distractions that are going on that you think your biggest problem is, man, I hate going to work on Monday. But you ain't ever thinking because your job ain't gave you time to think. And when you get on social media, it gives you all these other things to fight for, to fight against. You fight for other people's last name more than yourself. How you fight for their last name and won't fight for your own? If I got on this live right now and said, man, I like Donald Trump, y'all will lose y'all mind. This person is way better. This person is way better. This is the representative. That is the person that you need to be talking to. This is the person, you don't know what you're talking about. You need to be talking about this person. Why y'all fighting on who got the best? Now, let me stop. Why you don't fight for your own last name like that? Why you don't fight for yourself that way? Why you don't go extra hard about it the way you go extra hard about your favorite football team? Let somebody talk about Beyonce and watch people lose their mind. Why are you so fixated on going so hard for somebody else instead of yourself? The math don't math, y'all. It's all a game. You're playing yourself. You're playing your kids. It's a wild day. You can't figure out how to get out of your rat race because you're trying to dissect what 50 Cent did with Diddy. You can't help but to dissect it. Man, he did all this stuff. I can't believe this. Man, can you believe 50 Cent did that, man? He shouldn't have did that, man. They already did enough to that man. That ain't right. Why do you care? How did you benefit from it? How? The crazy part, you spent a good little 3, 4, 5 hours watching 3, 4 episodes of that little documentary, whatever you want to call it. I don't freaking know what you call it these days. Meanwhile, there was a company out there that had put over 150 oil machines in middle America at $6 million a piece. Forget how much money they're getting on the return on that. Over 150 machines in middle America at $6 million a piece. You think you got time to be playing? You out here hating on Bill Gates. I can't stand him because of all the stuff he's trying to do to our food. He's not a farmer. On the 275,000 acres of farmland that it ain't nothing on it. Lab. He gets about $20 million a year just to hold the land. Think. You think these wealthy people buying land for their health? You think they trying to figure out how to hurt you? Think. Come on. You got to start focusing. Your job, I'm tired of you saying you're tired of it. You tired of your coworkers? I'm tired of you talking about them, y'all. At some point, you got to do something different. You have to do something different. When I was at the bank and I was in my final days of leaving the bank, man, things were starting to become very, very clear upon my last days. And one of the things that I realized that was interesting, and I'm not gonna say his name because he be on my live sometime, one of my old employees. And I told him, he called me, we talked for a little while, and I told him, I was like, man, he said, Z man, I know you got all this stuff going on outside the bank. You don't need the money at the bank at this point. You're making good money. And I remember telling him, I said, man, I got to do the calculations when I get home. And when I do the calculation when I get home, I just got to see what makes sense. And when I got home and I did the calculation of what I was doing outside of the bank versus what I was doing inside of the bank, I realized I was losing money when I was going to work. I was losing money going to work. I don't think people hear me when I say that. I was losing money when I was going to work. It was so like, just blatant. Like, how could I be so ignorant? I couldn't believe that I'm looking at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars that I'm leaving on the table because I'm locked in this office. And I don't think people understand when I say that, but it is what it is. Your time is the most priceless thing that you have. You see your favorite celebrity, they're screwed. The most famous celebrity that you think got all the money in the world, they're screwed. They have a high earning income job. This is the reason why they never can fully get out of what they're doing, because there's no way for them to lock you into these things the same way I do. I don't think people get that. When you're able to remove the time away from the money, that's when life changes. When you start to perspective, though, it can get ugly. You make $100,000 a year. That's $11.41 an hour, and that's before taxes. I'll say that one more time because I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings, but I need to say this because I want to make sure that people understand. If you make $100,000 a year, that's $11.41 an hour, and that's before taxes. It's 8,760 hours in a year, boys and girls. Just because you don't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, your light bill work every day. Your car note work like all this stuff working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, except for you. So you out here struggling to make $6 every hour after taxes. You telling me that you can go on the side of the street and go get you $6 every hour with a cup in your hand? You telling me you can't go out and figure out no way to go get you $6 every hour? That's what you're telling me. Well, man, bro, I'm saying, man, but my salary really somewhere around about like $35, $40 an hour. Okay, that's even worse. That's even worse. You make $40 an hour, but you'll shut old girl down because she asked you for $40. I get it. That's all you got an hour. You pay her $40 for 10 minutes. Make it make sense. Why does it take you a whole hour to make $40? These are questions that you really need to be asking yourself. You telling me you don't have a way on this planet to figure out without being at a job how to get $40 an hour? The math don't math, y'all. You can easily go find you a product that costs you $50 and make that $40 within 5 minutes. But you rather go and sit in the office and be locked down, and just because you got a title, you are a VP at the company, and you want to brag to your family and your friends that you're the best person at your job and you're a vice president, so you happy about your $40 an hour. I got a 401k. I'm going to be able to retire when I get 65 years old, and I'm going to travel the world. You know how crazy you sound? When you looking at people around you that are retired and they asking you for help to pay for their medicine, make it make sense. Please help a brother out. But see, I made it very apparent that I couldn't be that person. I said to myself, I got to go out on my shield. I got to go out on my shield. If this don't work, because I can't depend on them, I can't depend on the bank, because I truly believe if you give somebody the power to feed you, you 100% give them the power to starve you. And that was too much like being homeless to me. That don't make no sense to me. Most people in the United States of America, about 30 are homeless. Your boss can have a bad day and come in and say your service are no longer needed. What are you gonna do? Go find you another job? Like, what's really gonna happen? That's a real question. I want to know. Y'all gotta forgive me. I've been on my lemonade milk for the last few days actually now. But it's one of those things where you gotta start making this stuff make sense. You gotta start playing the game at a different level. And if you're not gonna play the game at a different level, then what's gonna happen? You're gonna hope and pray that something changes? That's what you're gonna hope? So you did it the old-fashioned way and it worked out for you? Congratulations. What is the old-fashioned way? I'm curious. Tell all of us the old-fashioned way that worked. And I want you to think about what you're about to say. And the reason, it's all love, by the way, but the reason why I'm saying that is because the days are over for people being on a job for 30, 40, 50 years. Even when I was in the workforce, I was at Bank of America for 20 years. There weren't people on the job for 5 years. That's not a reality no more, y'all. It ain't like how your granddaddy can go and work at the factory and make a decent living because things didn't cost an arm and a leg. That ain't reality no more for nobody. And by 2035, we got about 10 years. I'm saying by 2030, it's going to be crazy. You ain't going to be working no job. Between AI and robots, it's a wrap. You got a short window to figure something out. Very short. Think about that for a second. See, I figured out something interesting too. And I can call it the old-fashioned way as well. But I figured out something, not just the old way, it's always going to be the way. Regardless of what you do, regardless of what transpires, it is always going to be the way. I started doing what the banks do. I started doing what the wealthy people do in real life. And that was crazy to me, y'all. I said, ooh, you can do this forever. It ain't ever gonna change up on me, no matter what the situation is. I can have a bad day. I can have a bad month. I can have a bad year. I know I'm not perfect, but the reality of it is, man, this stuff is for life. The stuff that they do outlive you, me, and everybody else. That's why it works. And the scarier part is you got to have it. There's no human being on this planet that can live without it. You have no choice. I don't care what you go to in your life. You got to have that land, y'all. Because if you don't, you're going to eventually lose. Period. And that's what makes it so powerful. I always used to have a little bit of a head scratcher when I was studying wealthy, and I realized every wealthy person I study owned land. That blew my mind. I haven't found one on land, not one. And I'm not talking about the people y'all call wealthy either. Because y'all still calling LeBron James wealthy, and he has a high earning income, a job. Just so we all on the same page. He worked for Mrs. Bliss, the owner of the Los Angeles Lakers. Just so we clear. And I like LeBron. Shout out to LB. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But you're not ready for that conversation because you've been told something different. And I get it. We all were. See, money is only supposed to be used for public use and private use. I'm going to say that again. Money is only supposed to be used for public use and private use. It is not supposed to be used personally, y'all. We talked about this yesterday. I showed you this stuff on your money. I wish it was a different way, y'all. But I can't reinvent the wheel. Let me pull it up. We ain't gonna go through the XI, but I'm just gonna show people because I want us all to be on the same page. All the same page. Money is only supposed to be used for public use and private use. Let's see if I can put this in here. Dollar bill. Y'all can pull out some money. I'm gonna show all platforms. Don't worry about it. I got you. Public use and private use. Let's see what we got here. There we go. And it tells you on your money on the front in fine print. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Let me show y'all up there. I'm sorry. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. Let me show y'all down here again. This note is legal tender for all debts, public and private. It's simple. But you still got people running around spending money personally. Still to this day. And can't wrap their brain around nothing different from it. See, when I saw that was the bank's objective, and that's what they do. When I saw that it was the wealthy people objective, and that's what they do. I'm talking about people that had wealth in their family for 2, 3, 4, 500 years, and they ain't never changed their process. I said, there gotta be something to it, y'all. I'm following the breadcrumbs. And if I can get a percentage of it right, it's game over. It's game over. It is 100% game over. I was making multiple 6 figures a year at Bank of America. When I started making 7 figures a year, man, you couldn't tell me nothing. When I finally touched that 8-figure a year mark, that messed me up, y'all. Because I started to say to myself, wait. I gotta take some couple steps back. I don't need money. Ever. Let me take that money and buy time. Let me take this money and buy some more time. Let me start to move around. Let me do something a little bit different. I'm in between blessings. I ain't got no money because I understand the power of zero. And you can too. Yesterday, we started to go through a scenario on how y'all can do this yourself. That's what stuff is about, right? We started yesterday, and when we were going through the scenario, what's up, family? And when we were going through the scenario, kind of got cut off. I started glitching. I want to get into that right now. I think yesterday the scenario was I was bringing home 60 grand a year. It said I was married, wife didn't work, 4 kids, 320 credit score, right? 320 credit score. So we're going to go through that scenario and break that scenario down right now. This is how you can do exactly what you're doing from exactly where you at. Because you don't lack capital, y'all. You don't lack money. You lack information and taking action with the information that you get. I wish there was another way. That's just what it is. So you got to start paying attention to what matters and what doesn't matter. And I can tell you right now, your feelings don't matter, y'all. Nobody care about them. Save that for the people that you say you care about the most. There's only two things on this planet. It's either illegal or legal. If it's illegal, you don't want to do it, boys and girls. It's going to take you away from the people that you say you care about and love the most. If it's legal, there is nothing stopping you from doing it. Nothing. I want to be crystal clear when I say that. So if it's legal, the final conclusion is if it's legal, the only thing that's stopping you is you. I don't know another way to say it. So the scenario I just gave, we're going to go through it, and we're going to go through steps like I told y'all we were going to go yesterday. You can take notes, you can screen record. It don't matter to me. Because I had a ton of people before yesterday say, hey, man, if I had the simple blueprint to do what I need to do, man, I promise you, man, I would do it in a heart attack. And I always say, cap. Out of all the people between all these platforms, we're probably somewhere around probably about like 300 people all in. We'll probably have like 0.01% of the people actually with this information. And that's okay, because that's who it's for. If you feel like you included in it, hey, don't prove it to me. Prove it to yourself. All right. So first thing first, let's go with step number 1. Okay. The first step is that you got to get in the mirror with yourself. Any bad habits that you have, any trauma that you have to address it. And I mean really address it. Before new habits can come in, you got to get rid of those old habits. So you have to address your demons. I can't stress that to you enough. It is probably one of the most vital things you can do. I can tell you, when I had to get in that mirror, it was hard for me to acknowledge that I was a POS. It was hard for me to acknowledge that I was a lying mother. Like, it was hard for me to say these things to myself. It was bad, super bad. And I kept saying to myself, but I'm really not like that. That's just people's perspective on what they feel. And I don't do that. I had to make myself believe that stuff. And it took me a long time to get all that stuff addressed. You got to address your demons. It's a real thing. If you lazy, you got to address it. If you like procrastinating for no reason, you got to address it. If you're a bad dad, you're a bad mama, you got to address it. If you don't like people, own it. You can't keep lying to yourself. You're not going to get nowhere to the level that you're trying to get to without addressing those demons that you have. And it's a you problem, not nobody else. That's the first thing you need to do. Okay? If you're with me so far, you understand so far what I just explained, put a 1 in the chat. I just want to see. I want to make sure we all on the same page. All right, we together. The next thing that you need to understand, and this is probably going to be tough for some folks, you need to identify everybody that you love and you care about I'm going to say this slowly. You need to identify everyone that you love and you say you care about the most. These people, in most cases, you've been calling them your why you do what you do, why you get up and go to work every day and deal with that nagging boss, your annoying coworkers who try to act like your boss, why you deal with rush hour traffic. These are people that you consider your why. Okay? It shouldn't be that hard to identify them. You should already know who they are. Okay? Once you have identified those people that you say you care about and love the most, you have to provide them unconditional love. I'm going to say that again. Once you identify these people that you say you care about and love the most, you have to provide them unconditional love. And before somebody say, you can't provide nobody unconditional love, you're not perfect, that is exactly why you're providing them unconditional love, because you're not perfect. That means, in a nutshell, no condition that exists on this planet at all will ever make you stop loving them, period. It don't matter how egregious, it don't matter what the situation is, you're showing them unconditional love, period. You're going to love them and support them through any and everything. It don't matter. This is where your head get to be a little trippy. Because that little small piece is going to make you understand how wealthy people operate with the people that they care about and love the most. You know how you see them wealthy folks and their kids do the most egregious thing and they be right there trying to help their kid out, trying to figure out how to get their kid through the situation, but they still loving and supporting their kid. If it was somebody else, they would crucify them. But since it's somebody that they love and care about the most, they're going to continue showing unconditional love. You have to get into that mindset, because that's what's going to give you the power to keep it. That's what's going to give you the strength to push through everything, including your fears. All right. If you understand, we're going to walk through this slowly. If you understand what I just said, put it in the chat. All right. Looking good over there. Looking good. All right. TikTok, good. IG, what we look like. YouTube, what we got. Facebook, what's up? All right. Number three. I don't care if you got a job. I don't care if you own your own business. I don't care if you retire. It don't matter, y'all. When you get money, it only needs to go into three places. Three. You can do whatever you want to do, but I'm just telling you what I did. That's all I can say. When you get money, it needs to go into three places. Three. Those three places are basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. I'm going to say it again. Your money need to go into three places: basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. It's that simple, y'all. Putting your money into those three places will change your life forever. And I know it sounds simple. I get it. But I was that person that then tried every type of hustle business you can think about. None of it worked. Maybe I didn't apply myself enough. Maybe I wasn't smart enough, whatever. None of it worked. When I started putting my money in those three places, it changed my bloodline life forever. I wish I was making it up. Why are you putting your money in land? Because they not making no more. Land is the only thing on this planet that only goes up in value and don't go up and down. Plus, you make money when you buy land, not when you sell it. I'm just trying to put it in perspective. Okay? Why would you put your money in that whole life insurance policy? Because your health is your wealth. The healthier you are, the bigger the life insurance policy you can get. You telling me I can put my money into a whole life insurance policy and it just don't have a death benefit. It also have a living benefit. And with that living benefit, I can put my money in that policy every month like clockwork. And that money is going to get compound interest daily, tax-free, that I can borrow from and pay myself back with interest. And oh, by the way, when I borrow that money and go invest in what I'm investing, the money is still inside the policy, getting compound interest daily, tax-free. Think about what I'm saying. When you say, is there a particular order? First thing you got to do first, second thing you got to do second. This is the third step. When you're talking about getting a life insurance policy, when you're talking about getting land, when you're talking about your basic living expenses, that's going to depend on you. And when I say all, when you say all at the same time or a specific order, your basic living expense is going to have to get covered. You're going to have to get the life insurance policy. If you run all your check, your whole paycheck through your life insurance policy and structure in a way where you can borrow from it every 30 days and pay it back with interest every 30 days, you could be putting your money in your life insurance policy first and then borrow the money back out to take care of your basic living expense and buy land. You could. Now, of course, you're playing with money, right? Most people don't have enough confidence out the gate to do that. So what I would say is you take a percentage of the money, right? Let's say you got 100% of your money. You're going to take 6% of your money to pay your basic living expenses. Not a penny more, not a penny less. Leave you with 40%. With that 40% that you got left of your money, you're going to take 25% and put it into the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford. And then you're going to take that last 15% and buy land. I hope it makes sense. Whole life insurance, not just regular insurance. Yeah, it's a fact. All right, cool. Why are you doing basic living expenses? Because you don't need all this garbage y'all getting, y'all. You trying to buy the new 2026 Range Rover when it come out. Y'all, that don't make sense. When your ancestors are coming up, boys and girls, guess what? They didn't go get the 1813 new Tennessee Walker horse when it came out. Every year a horse came out, they weren't trying to go get the new horse. They weren't doing that. They got them a horse, they maintained it, made sure it worked, so they ain't have to spend no more money on it. They took care of their horse. They weren't going to buy no new horse. Why the hell you buying a new car every year? I like to lease my vehicles so I can have the latest or the latest. You sound crazy. You can't afford it. So again, your money's only going into 3 places: basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. Okay? If you understand where we at so far, put a 3 in the chat. I told y'all we're going to slow walk this today. We're going to slow walk this. Yeah, we're going to go live on Zabo 103 TV, the app, right after this. We're going to dig deeper than what we're digging on social media. For sure. I appreciate you joining, family. 100%. I appreciate you. Can we talk about the land? Let's go back to the land. That's cool, Nick. We can do that. So when you're looking at the land, think of it this way, right? Most people believe that when they buy land, you only can do what? Build a house, become a landlord. Y'all, there's so many ways to make money off land. It don't even make sense. It don't even make sense. And before somebody said, what if it's a flood zone? Don't nobody care. Do you understand how much money you make in a flood zone? You probably don't. So let me help you out. Florida is a flood zone. Jamaica is a flood zone. Hawaii is a flood zone. Turks and Caicos is a flood zone. You have no idea how much money you make in a flood zone. I'll tell you this. Let me tell you a quick little story. I live in Georgia, right? I'm a Grady baby at ATL. If you live in Georgia, even though Georgia is on the coast, right? If you live in Georgia and you live in Atlanta, just for the sake of argument, it will take you 4 hours minimally to get to a beach. If you live in Atlanta, it used to take you 4 hours to get to a beach. I just want to make sure we all on the same page. Okay? Some years ago now, these people got the bright idea. They was in an area where the land was really wet land for the most part, pretty flooded. They decided to build a man-made beach 45 minutes from downtown Atlanta. Because they said to themselves, why should it take 4 hours to get to a beach? We gonna bring the beach to us the same way they do in Dubai. How the hell they get a beach in Dubai? It's the desert. Make it make sense. Think. Do you understand how much people pay to go fishing? Man, I'm down here in the bayou, man. We ain't got like lakes and stuff like that, man. We got swamps. Do you understand you can go out right now and go and buy you some of those cheap 10-seater airboats and charge people $46 an hour per person to go tour and look at gators? You don't understand how much money you make off of wetland, farmland. You don't get it. Do you have an idea on how much people pay to go hunting? I don't know if y'all know. If y'all ever seen a quail, people go hunt quail, y'all. Them little birds they small, y'all. And when they come up out of the thing, they be like jets. They be like jets. They get about 12 shots on them. But you ain't really catching them. You gotta be a A1 shot to get that quail. Ducks too. It wasn't just a video game for all my old heads in here. Duck hunt. Come on, y'all, think. Land is valuable, y'all. It is so valuable, it don't make sense. Well, I like what you said, Gina. Think outside of the box. But I'm going to give you one a little bit better. Just a little bit better. Don't think outside of the box at all. Understand there is no box unless you're in prison. The box don't exist. It's a barrier that we create around ourselves that gave us all these limitations. Y'all ever seen the little, I think it was like some ants or whatever, and the dude was taking a marker and drawing circles around, and when they get to the line, they'll go back the other way. That's what's happening. People got to understand it's a big world out here. We just got rid of our 100 acres of pecan orchards, right? We ain't around here selling pecan pies. We weren't selling pies. They want the oil on the shell, y'all. I got land with this on it. I can't even say the word. Think about it. Do you understand how much cell phone companies pay you to lease your land to put their cell phone towers on your land? Do you understand that? I don't think people get it. I'll show you, family. I know you. Somebody was gonna ask. Let me just show you real quick. I'll show you. I'll just show you. This business right here. This is one of 13 businesses. I want to put it in perspective for you to make it make sense. This business right here, from October the 1st to December 14th, has done over $10 million. I'm trying to put it in perspective because I know people are asking. So I'm just showing y'all. It then did over 10 million bucks. It's been 3.5 years. That's one of 13 businesses. I'm not saying this stuff just to be saying it. I'm not saying it out the blue and without going through some of these lived experience. I'm explaining it to you because it changed my bloodline life forever. It changed it. I can't unsee this stuff. You got to make this stuff make sense. Land is the most, it's the most valuable thing you ever could do in your life. I got a clothing business too, family. Yeah, I do. But not the same way your clothing business is. It's a little bit different. You go buy shirts by the shirts. I don't buy none of that. I can sell you some shirts if that's what you want, but you ain't gonna buy it by the shirt. You're gonna buy it by the pound. It's a different conversation. It's a different way of looking at things. So back to what we said, you got to put your money in 3 places: basic living expenses, the biggest whole life insurance policy you can afford, and land. They not making no more, y'all. And you got to have it because everything goes back to the land, including you. Don't let that go over your head. We're going to keep this party going. If we all on the same page, I know I told y'all to put a 3 in the chat. If y'all understand where we at, put a 3 in the chat, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to dig into how you do this stuff from where you at, because you ain't got to have a whole bunch of money. In fact, you ain't got to have no money. That's the part that becomes crazy. You don't need a whole bunch of bread, y'all. You just need your job. You got a job. You're doing good. You're doing great. Most of y'all got first world problems. You ain't struggling. You got a $1,000 phone in your hand right now watching me. You're not struggling at all. I don't care if you're using McDonald's Wi-Fi. It don't matter to me. You got a $1,000 phone in your hand. You're not struggling. I can assure you that. So let's dig into it. Yesterday, when I left out of here, y'all gave me a scenario that y'all wanted me to do to tell you what I would do if I was in that situation, right? So let's dig into it the way we need to dig into it. Let me put this up. Oh, that's all in my face. All right. So let's dig into it the way we need to dig into it, okay? Hopefully y'all on the same page, right? So the scenario y'all gave me, y'all said I'm bringing home $60,000 a year. Y'all said I was married, my wife went working. We got 4 kids together, right? Y'all told me that my credit score was 320. I don't think it was anything else unless y'all want to add something else. A 320 credit score? Yeah, 320. So let me explain to the people that popped on new here today. If you make more than $60,000 a year, if you're married or single, it ain't gonna matter. If you got less than 4 kids, should be okay. If your credit score is higher than 3 20, you should have no problems. I'm going to show you right now what I would do in this particular situation to put me and my family in a position to where we will never work for anybody else for the rest of our life. Notice I ain't saying nothing about having no savings, no investments, none of that other stuff. I can't go lean on my personal credit out the gate. Why? Because it's horrible. My 320 credit score is worse than bankruptcy. I don't know if I said anything about renting or owning. I mean, y'all can pick right now. It don't matter to me. What y'all want to do? You want to say I'm renting? You want to say I'm owning? What do you want to do? I got to imagine with that low of a credit score, I'm the only income, 60 grand a year, 4 kids. There's a good chance I'm probably renting. There ain't really a good chance I'm owning that property. Because I've been making bad decisions looking at my credit. So I don't think nobody would approve me for a mortgage if I got a 320 credit score. Definitely. We'll say I'm renting for the sake of this conversation. I was in